I don't have a problem with the WNBA players asking for a raise. The WNBA is on a hot streak. I don't care about the previous 24, 25 years. As an investment, it's starting to pay off. And so this week they wore T-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin.
Picture this. You're sitting in a room full of millionaires who just received the biggest payday of their lives, and instead of thanking the person who made it all possible, they're actively working to tear her down. Sound insane? Well, that's exactly what's happening in the WNBA right now. And Colin Cowherd just delivered the reality check that needed to be said. When Kelsey Plum and other veterans started taking shots at Caitlin Clark while simultaneously enjoying the financial windfall she created, Cowherd didn't just push back. He exposed the mind-blowing hypocrisy that's threatening to destroy the league's golden opportunity. Here's
just United Front was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Oh boy.
What makes this story so absolutely wild? These are the same players who just 2 years ago were flying Spirit Airlines, paying for their own water bottles, and playing in front of crowds you could count on your fingers. The WNBA was bleeding money so badly that finding a jersey to buy was like searching for a unicorn. Teams were operating at massive losses, players were working second jobs in the offseason, and the league was essentially running as a...
Why do you take a shot at the golden goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private. Okay, if you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself. All right, you went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a Four Seasons in the shopping district. Stop.
Charity case kept alive by NBA subsidies. This wasn't just struggling. This was a league on life support, wondering if each season might be its last. Then something miraculous happened. A young woman from Iowa stepped onto the scene and didn't just change the game. She completely revolutionized an entire industry overnight. We're talking about numbers that sound made up, but are absolutely real. Merchandise sales didn't just increase, they exploded by 500%. Not 50, not...
Mind the T-shirts. I think you have leverage. I think you deserve more than 9%. But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls, fast. Like this is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow. Right? She got you an upgrade to a better hotel. As a
500%. Attendance didn't see a modest bump. It jumped 40% across the entire league. Cities that used to have maybe a few hundred scattered fans were suddenly selling out arenas with waiting lists stretching for blocks. The Indiana Fever went from being a financial disaster that couldn't give away tickets to having season ticket waiting lists longer than some...
Deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars, well, there's one that moves the needle. And here's the other thing to remember. Caitlin Clark's already rich. She made $11 million this year alone in endorsements off the court. So regardless of how these negotiations go, she's set. Nobody else is, right? So when somebody joins the band and everything gets upgraded, just be...
NBA teams. Franchises that were hemorrhaging money year after year suddenly found themselves profitable for the first time in decades. This wasn't gradual growth. This was an instant transformation that defied every business model and prediction anyone had ever made about women's professional basketball. But here's where Colin Cowherd's frustration becomes absolutely justified, and frankly, where any reasonable person starts losing their mind. These same players who are now enjoying private jets instead of cramped commercial flights, staying in luxury hotels instead of budget motels, and seeing their salaries increase dramatically are the ones complaining about the person who made it all possible. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. They're literally biting the hand that feeds them while enjoying.
Wanted your song to be the first one they played. You wanted to make up the set. I mean, it's not the t-shirts. You're going to do fine. I'd scale back on the Caitlin Clark.
Enjoying the feast that hand provided. Let's be crystal clear about Caitlin Clark's position in all this. This isn't some desperate player clinging to relevance or trying to make a name for herself. Clark walked into the WNBA with $11 million in endorsement deals already secured. She didn't need the WNBA needed her. And boy, did she deliver. TV ratings spike whenever she touches the court. Sponsors who wouldn't return the league's phone calls 2 years ago are now throwing money at WNBA partnerships because of her drawing power. Social media engagement has gone through the roof. Young girls are buying Clark jerseys faster than manufacturers can produce them. The ripple effect of her popularity has touched every single player in that league, from the superstars to the bench warmers. Everyone is making more money, everyone is playing in better conditions, everyone is benefiting from increased attention and investment. Yet somehow, some of these players have convinced themselves that she's the problem. This brings us to the All-Star voting controversy that perfectly
Clark finished 9th in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting for the All-Star game. The pettiness has no bounds. But it's interesting, for years, the WNBA players were pointing fingers. They were saying people are sexist, the media is sexist, we're not being promoted, we're underappreciated. And then they get the golden goose, and they don't like...
Encapsulates the pettiness Cowherd called out. The WNBA All-Star selection process involves 3 groups: fans, coaches, and players. Each group's vote carries weight in determining who gets selected. And for young players especially, All-Star recognition can be the difference between endorsement deals and obscurity, between building a legacy and being forgotten. When the voting results were revealed, they exposed something genuinely shocking. Caitlin Clark, the player who had single-handedly transformed...
When the wave hits, ride it. You don't know what it looks like. Don't fight it. When Puka Nacua went in the 5th round of the Rams and they suddenly in camp went, oh, we just found a new number 1 receiver. He's better than Cooper Kupp. They didn't fight it. Did you think when you watched Tom Brady at the Combine, that looked like the GOAT? They had just signed Drew Bledsoe to a $103 million contract. That was a lot of money back then. And then a year in, they're like, we're going to go with Brady.
The league's financial prospects. Ranked 9th among players in the voting. 9th, behind her own teammate. Meanwhile, fans ranked her 1st among guards. Think about that disparity for a moment. The people actually paying to watch games, buying tickets, purchasing merchandise, and generating the revenue that pays everyone's salaries recognized Clark's value. But her fellow players? They ranked her so low it became impossible to ignore the bias. This isn't just about basketball performance either. Clark's stats absolutely supported All-Star recognition. This was politics, pure and simple. And it was politics being played against the person whose success was directly responsible for everyone else's improved circumstances. Colin Cowherd's comparison to other sports legends makes this pettiness even more obvious. When LeBron James entered the NBA as a highly touted rookie generating massive attention, veteran players recognized his talent and embraced the spotlight he brought to the league. When Tiger Woods started dominating golf and...
So component here, the WNBA players, they just don't like what the wave looks like. They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular. They wanted a better deal in the CBA, which they'll get. They wanted sold out arenas. They got it. They don't necessarily think it should be this. But again, you can't fight it. You just never know what success...
Bringing unprecedented viewership and prize money to tournaments, tour veterans understood that a rising tide lifts all boats. But somehow in the WNBA, we're seeing the opposite reaction. The players are working against their own financial interests, and Cowherd wasn't afraid to call it exactly what it is: petty, obvious, and self-destructive. This isn't about protecting competitive integrity or maintaining traditions. This is about resistance to change and an unwillingness to acknowledge that sometimes success comes from unexpected places. Here's something that makes this story even more.
No, is it authentic? It touches people. There's a tentacle of emotion involved, and suddenly some small town kid goes viral, or a singing frog. Who knows? I wouldn't have guessed that Caitlin Clark would be this transformative. I wouldn't have guessed Tom Brady would be the GOAT. Don't fight it. The wave, the meteor, doesn't necessarily.
More fascinating. Every company in the world desperately wants viral marketing, but authentic viral success can't be manufactured. You can't force emotional connections with audiences. You can't predict what's going to capture the public imagination. It could be a small town kid with incredible talent, or it could be a singing frog. Success takes many different forms and often comes from the most unexpected places. Cowherd himself admitted he wouldn't have predicted Clark's
money. It's an investment. It's now going to make money. And by the way, this is the least profitable, arguably. It'll be over the next 10 years. It's only going to get more profitable as women's basketball gets better, as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year, she's not playing well. She's hurt. She's not there for all the games. So this is actually not as great as it could be. Like Michael Jordan, hurt year 2.
Massive impact on the league. This parallels Tom Brady's journey from 6th-round draft pick to GOAT status. Sometimes the most transformative figures are the ones nobody sees coming. But once they arrive and start changing everything, smart organizations and smart individuals recognize the opportunity and position themselves accordingly. This brings us to the Jordan comparison that makes everything crystal clear. Both Michael Jordan and
really good, really fast. It's like the end of year 1 for Michael Jordan or year 3 for Michael Jordan. She's gotten really good, really fast. And you got to put a body on her, or you got to double team her, or she's going to embarrass you. She's shooting 33-footers. And what happened last night's a byproduct of that. This is what happened to MJ. She's number 1 and 2 in every offensive stat. She's hitting more threes this season than Steph Curry did in his first MVP season, and her game embarrasses you.
Caitlin Clark arrived as flashy rookies who immediately changed their leagues overnight. Jordan transformed the NBA from a struggling league into a global phenomenon, creating billions in revenue and making household names out of players who might otherwise have been forgotten. Clark is doing the exact same thing for the WNBA right now. The parallel is so obvious, it's genuinely puzzling why more people aren't discussing it. Both faced resistance. Both were targeted by opponents trying to intimidate them.
MJ, for the record, Caitlin Clark got up. She wasn't hurt. She did more trash talking. She hit more threes. She remained remarkable, just like all the great. You know, if you respect women, stop pandering. She's tough. She's feisty. She likes to taunt and talk.
And both had to prove themselves against players who resented their immediate impact and attention. Jordan dealt with the Detroit Pistons' infamous Jordan rules, a deliberate strategy to physically punish him every time he touched the ball. Clark has faced similar targeting throughout her rookie season, with officials struggling to provide adequate protection. Smart organizations learn from history. The Chicago Bulls brought in Charles Oakley to protect Jordan. The Indiana Fever signed players like Sophie Cunningham to ensure Clark has the support she needs.
Over in a trade for a reason. She's the youngest black belt in the state of Missouri's history, 6 years old. They brought her over to protect Caitlin Clark because they saw this puppy coming. The league doesn't quite know what to do, but the Fever did. And so, again,
when you have a generational talent transforming your business, you protect that investment. It's not complicated, it's just smart business. Both Jordan and Clark became what Cowherd called dynastic TV rating changers. They achieved must-watch television status immediately, not gradually. The patterns in viewership surges, merchandise explosions, and cultural impact.
History of basketball, high school, college, WNBA, NBA. If there's an offensive player and they're humiliating you, Steph, Shaq, MJ, Caitlin, what do? You can't trap her, she'll dribble through it. You gotta put a body on her. You gotta double team her. You try to get in her head with trash talking. It's not working at all. It's the ultimate
are virtually identical. This isn't speculation. It's historical precedent showing us exactly how superstars transform entire leagues. The college connection factor adds another layer to this comparison. Jordan's popularity at North Carolina translated seamlessly to NBA success, bringing college basketball fans into the professional ranks. Clark's massive following from her Iowa days is doing the exact same thing for the WNBA. These aren't casual fans who might disappear. These are passionate supporters who followed her from college and are now invested in professional women's basketball for the long term. This foundation gives us confidence that Clark's impact isn't a temporary phenomenon. The WNBA's future genuinely runs through Caitlin Clark and her...
They're not hazing her anymore. They're just trying to figure out how the hell to stop her. Okay, it's not hazing. It's, all right, traps, pressure. So the Fever saw it coming. They went and got Sophie Cunningham, 6-year-old black belt. This is what the Bulls did with Charles Oakley to protect Michael.
Second season trajectory will likely reshape the entire league's operations permanently. We're not talking about a brief popularity spike. We're looking at momentum building toward a decades-long financial turnaround that could completely transform women's basketball. But here's the crucial choice facing veteran players. They can either embrace this wave of success or get swept aside by it. History shows us that some players adapt to generational talents and thrive alongside them, while others resist change and get left behind. Smart players like Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston have recognized the patterns and positioned themselves to benefit from Clark's success.
In this league, and now you get this flashy player, and they don't know how to officiate her, they don't know how to defend her. But I would say, when I hear this, Colin, the WNBA, Colin, has got to do something. Yes, they do. Understand, this is the arc of a new superstar in your league. It'll start with hazing, it'll go to physicality, it'll go to flagrants, it may go to technicals. You'll eventually have to get a Sophie Cunningham or a Charles Oakley. I mean, Wayne Gretzky did this for years. They figured it out in hockey. How do you stop Gretzky? Oh, we can't. How do you stop MJ? We can't. How do you stop Caitlin Clark? You guys understand, this is the worst she'll ever be. She's getting better, and they can't stop her.
They understand that collaboration beats competition when it comes to long-term prosperity. Looking ahead to 2025 and beyond, the potential outcomes are genuinely exciting. We could see sold-out arenas becoming the norm rather than the exception. Sponsorship deals with real financial impact could become standard across the league. Young girls wearing WNBA jerseys to school could become as common as seeing NBA gear. Television ratings could create actual network competition for broadcasting rights. But there's also a risk if the resistance continues. The league could split into two camps, those riding the Clark wave versus those fighting their own prosperity. And let's be honest, fighting success makes absolutely zero sense from any perspective you can imagine. The bottom line message that Colin Cowherd delivered needs to be heard loud and clear. Stop biting the hand that feeds you. Appreciate the golden goose while you have her. The WNBA...
Steal. This will only make Caitlin Clark a better player. It will only make the Fever more championship ready. And the Indiana fans, good for you. You're going to have the great watch of the next 15 years because they're never trading her.
She is experiencing unprecedented growth that surpasses even the most optimistic projections anyone made just 3 years ago. Fighting against that success is not just counterproductive, it's actively destructive to everyone's interests. This is why smart fans are supporting players who embrace the transformation rather than those who resist it. 2025 could genuinely be the breakthrough year that brings the WNBA into mainstream recognition and financial stability that seemed impossible just a few seasons ago. But only if the league's veterans stop working against their own golden opportunity and start recognizing greatness when it's staring them right in the face.
That's okay. It took Conor McGregor to the UFC and John Jones. It sometimes in emerging leagues, it takes a superstar. And now, you know, America is all into UFC. But it does take sometimes these special athletes